Welcome to The Great Exchange, a podcast about examining the lies that we believe and exchanging them for God's truth. I'm your host, Brady Cohn. Today we don't have a co-host. Today is a little bit of a special, different day. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and today is the last episode of this season. We are celebrating 1 year of The Great Exchange podcast. It's been such a fun year. We've heard stories about people who have come to know the Lord, who have been freed from sin, free from shame, free from sexual addiction, free from homosexuality. People who have been freed from transgenderism. We've heard encouragement on how to engage in people's lives and how to step into lives and proclaim the good news of Jesus. It's been such a great year, and I hope and pray you'll join us in January for the start of our second year. We have some great content coming up in January. We have a pediatrician who will be talking about gender-affirming care. We have an apologist who will talk about why Scripture is accurate and why we need apologetics in talking about sexuality issues. We will be hearing from some parents who shared their story about walking alongside their kids. There's so much powerful content, but we're going to take a break for the holidays. But I want to encourage you guys with one thing before we take this holiday break. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and in just a few weeks is Christmas. And our time is going to be filled with family gatherings, with holiday parties, with get-togethers. And for some of us, we find a lot of joy in that. But some of us, there's a lot of baggage in that. Some of us, there's a lot of hurt and pain. Some of us, we get together with our family and we're reminded of things that have happened in the past. And I think a lot of people go to those family get-togethers with an attitude of, I just want to survive this. I want to punch out after a certain amount of time. I've done my minimal obligation by showing up here with my kids, and now I just want to be done and move on. But I really want to encourage you guys that this is a time of year where we can be intentional about loving our family, loving our coworkers, interacting with people in a space we don't normally get to interact with them in. I've been reading a lot in First Corinthians. Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah. I've been reading a lot in Colossians. I love the book of Colossians, and chapter 3 really grabs my heart and really convicts me. Colossians 3 verses 12 and 13 say this: "Put on then as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another, and if anyone has complained against another, forgiving each other. As the Lord has forgiven you, so you also must forgive. And above all things, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you're called in one body, and be thankful." What a great calling to lead into Thanksgiving, that we're to forgive one another. And so as we interact with our family members, our friends, people who maybe we have some baggage, we've been holding some grudges, that we can put on hearts of kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. And I pray and I challenge you guys to go to your family get-togethers and don't just check out, but emotionally invest in people. I love when Paul goes to the city of Athens in Acts 17, and he sees a city that's full of idolatry, and he's physically sickened by it. But he didn't say, that sin is just too yucky for me. Instead, he went there and he lived with them so that he could understand the idols their hearts were serving. He had to get close enough to them to understand what they were serving, where they were misplacing their hope. And so our Thanksgiving dinners, our Christmas gatherings with all the chaos is an opportunity to have some interactions with people we love and actually start to understand some of their hope. Where are they putting their hope? Where are they putting their hope in people? Where are they hurting? What idols are they serving? We can look for windows into their soul to understand that so that we can apply the gospel to it. I minister to a lot of LGBTQ families, and there's still a lot of attitude and questions around, should I allow my son, daughter, niece, nephew who's gay come to the family Thanksgiving? And my answer is, of course you should, because how else are they going to feel your love and your presence? And how else are you going to invest in them and understand what's going on in their life? So use this as an opportunity to stand up for the brokenhearted, for the least of these, for those who have been marginalized. Invite them into your life. Invite them to the family dinner. It can be messy, it can be chaotic, but we can pray that God gives us the words to say. And we can pray that God softens their heart through our interactions with them. I think a good way to start this is starting by praying for them. And so I'd encourage you to, whoever you're dreading seeing over your family holidays, whoever you just want to pass the time and not actually engage with, start by praying for them, because it's really hard to be mad at someone we're praying for. Pray that God would first and foremost change your heart. Pray that God would give you compassion for them. Pray that God would give you care and concern for their soul, and that you could let go of past grievances, and that you can have a bigger picture of what these interactions can look like. With that said, I pray that you have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great Christmas. Be thankful for all that Christ has done for us. Use this time well to glorify God, to invest in people, and give thanks for what God has done for you. As we look at the end of the year, we are so thankful for what God has done with the Great Exchange podcast. And God has not only blessed us, but he's given us the people and the resources to put this whole thing together. We've invested so much time, energy, effort, and financial resources into making this podcast possible. So as you're evaluating your end of the year giving, and as you have opportunities to give, we would love your support so this podcast would continue to be available. You can donate to the Great Exchange podcast by going to calibrateministries.com and signing up for either a one-time end of the year donation or for monthly giving. Thank you for your consideration. We'd really appreciate your support. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in January.